Good morning, HODLers. In this video, in this episode today, we have the pleasure of having Mat Sposta, the co-founder of Chibilabs, on the show, followed by some NFTBytes, aka NFT News Alpha, with a finale in the Week 6 DraftKings DFS Slate, where we talk cash. First look, of course, cash games, GPP, and the new Reignmakers format. So before we bring on our guest today, I'd like to give a little background here. And I'm going to read a bio that I didn't write myself, full transparency. But let's give him a follow if you're not already. So let me just pull up a prop for us here. And let's give him a follow here. It's Mat Sposta on Twitter. Now, he's an accomplished entrepreneur, operator, and tech thought leader. He has launched several startups and successfully exited one through a public company. He's the managing principal of Depeche Node, a dynamic operating partner, Web3 studio, and consulting agency. He founded Chibilabs, which is going to be our focus today, a prominent NFT studio, and Trove, a content business focused on sports cards and collectibles. Matt was a founding member and partner at Brand X Partners, a highly accomplished operating partner focused on scaling brands and businesses. Prior to launching Brand X, he founded the Crown League, a paradigm-shifting gaming and sports media platform acquired by Hall of Fame resort and entertainment company. Their NASDAQ abbreviation is HOFV. Prior to building the Crown League, he spent the early part of his career on Wall Street across several banks, including Lehman Brothers, Barclays, and Wells Fargo. He's an active angel investor, advisor, and board member. He lives in New York with his wife, Adina, and his daughters, Sloan and Ava. I hope I didn't butcher that. Now, without squirrel ado, my name is Malo, and I'll be your host for today's episode of BitMonkey TV's Good Morning HODLers. Let's bring on a warm welcome, a warm monkey chat welcome for Mat Sposta. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing?
What's up? How we doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good. How come I got the full screen? I feel like we need. There we go.
Yeah. I like opening it up that way. So you'll notice I transition here. So especially when I ask certain questions, I like to give you the full screen, and that's primarily for clipping purposes. When we cut this down and drop it as the interview. So.
I'm glad we finally got this done. I know we had to reschedule a few times.
I know. Third time's the charm, eh?
Definitely is.
Wonderful. So was that bio accurate? Forgive me if I butchered anything. I'm curious. Was there anything that maybe you want to touch on? And hopefully I didn't butcher your family's name. I try to get
No, you actually didn't. First of all, you got my family name correct, Sposta. A lot of people like to pronounce it Sposta, but you nailed it. And everything else sounded pretty good. And actually, I don't know, I probably wrote that years ago and had some help on it, but I haven't actually heard someone articulate it out loud, and it sounded decent. So I'm okay with it. I feel good. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm still working on, the way I present as well, but awesome. So before we talk about the present moment, I'd like to rewind the clock a little bit and talk about your journey leading up to this point, if you don't mind. Where did it all start? Was there a defining moment early on in your career, before Wall Street, before the banks, right? Before early in your career, that set you on your path? Or maybe was it a first business that you formed that really kind of got you excited about, everything you've done? Or did you see an opportunity in markets and create an idea from that?
Yeah, I've always been a hustler. I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Launching little side hustles and businesses throughout my life. I think the earliest business I could probably go back to elementary school. I remember I was at my house and my mom had all these balloons, and I ended up filling the balloons up with flour and making these stress balls. And I had the idea to create 25 of them and bring them into third grade the day that we were having the book fair, when all the kids came to school with money. And I was selling these things $5 a pop. And I came home one day and my mom was like, "Where did you get $100 from?" And I was like, "I sold the stress balls." She's like, "That's amazing." The school called her the next day. It was just like, "He can't do that." It's just like, I was like, all right. That was like an early thing. I remember even in elementary school, like my brother and I used to go buy like bulk candy, like warheads and crybabies and things like that. We used to
Oh,
bring them
some
to
of the
school and
best.
right and sell those for like 25 cents a pop. So like I always had that like hustle and spirit in me. When I got to Wall Street, I think there's a lot of pressure living in New York City, graduate college, you like want to go into Wall Street. Like the whole suit and tie thing to me was such a big deal. Like I get in there, I was on a trading desk and I like, I cut my teeth on Wall Street and it was like one of those things like from a discipline standpoint, from a, work ethic standpoint, taught me like everything I know today and really like refined my skill set.
Mhm.
Thinking back on it, and this is like maybe 17 years ago at this point, it's just like I don't know why people do it. I couldn't imagine going back to a life where like I was on my desk at 7 a.m. every morning wearing a suit and tie, having to be cleanly shaven. And even within my Wall Street career, I was like fairly entrepreneurial. I used to bank and underwrite like clients that ultimately I was passionate about. Like I was really into music and the music scene, so I started working with a lot of like festival operators. And I was really super early on that. I helped invest in a couple of like some of the big festival operators, and 2 years later, Live Nation ended up buying up a lot of them. So I was like, I'm usually early on trends.
Mhm.
I was on Wall Street. I was a trader. 2013, I got into Bitcoin, and I was just so attracted to like the 24/7 nature of being able to trade and the way like communities were forming around this marketplace, which is now in the current day stock market, you see more of now with like meme stocks being traded in Wall Street bets and things like that. But back
Mhm.
then, you didn't really have like communities forming around like stocks and stock trading. But ultimately, that led me towards Bitcoin. And then in 2017, I got connected with two guys, and they're like, "Hey, we want to build a concept in the sports space. We're looking to bring in a partner. We need a good idea." I was like super knowledgeable on blockchain at the time. I was like, we were all obsessed with fantasy sports. I was like, let's build fantasy sports in the blockchain. These guys are like, that sounds amazing, but what the hell does that mean or look like? And we started sketching it out, and we built this amazing business. We ended up raising $7.5 million within the first 7 months. We were operational. I was still at my day job, kind of running both parallel paths at the same time, building a startup business and being on Wall Street. And it was crazy and it was exciting. And I ended up leaving Wall Street 10 months after we launched the startup because I wanted to sit on my executive team at the company that I was building. I was going out raising capital for this business, sitting across the table from people I would have like killed for meetings with in my previous world,
Mhm.
as well as people I just like admired, looked up to. And it was super cool. I mean, I was always passionate about sports, love fantasy sports, and it's a lot easier to sell yourself and sell something that you've built when you're truly passionate about it as opposed to selling financial instruments and stocks and things like that. So I knew I was in the right place at the right time, and I wouldn't trade that journey for anything.
Man, that's awesome. And I love how you ended it with that part because we have and I'm sure you get this a lot, but I love fantasy sports. I got involved with fantasy football, I would say a little later than a lot of my peers, just because of my childhood and certain things that happened. But ever since 2000, pretty much since Bitcoin, I've been playing. I started FanDuel and then I transitioned DraftKings. And so I've been in DFS. I, have my own league and I've now started doing content around it. As you've heard with this intro, I've been adjusting Bitmonkey TV to be more about what I enjoy to do more than anything, so that it not only shows in the content, but I will actually be here 10 years from now doing my thing, and I'll make adjustments along the way. But touching on Hall of Fame League, like, I'm glad you brought up. So right place, right time. It wasn't that you started it and saw a product or a market fit, right? It was more so somebody approached you, right? Did I hear that correctly?
No, it was actually two buddies of mine in my fantasy league. We all came together and we were like, we're obsessed with fantasy sports. There's something much bigger here because we know how much time and energy we put into fantasy sports, but no one was figuring out how to monetize us as individuals. And we thought there was a much deeper connection here around building community, democratizing the ownership of pro sports, and blockchain was going to be that enabler. So we had developed that concept because we saw an opportunity and product market fit.
That's awesome. That's just perfect scenario, I feel like. And you're passionate about it, like, or are passionate about fantasy, right? Fantasy.
Yeah,
sports,
and look, I mean, sports, fantasy sports, sports betting, crypto trading, NFT trading. I think there's a lot of overlap in terms of the user type, the consumer, and those are all areas that I've played in for a long time. And for me, it's just been like, that's the shit I enjoy, right? It's just like you. It's like you're gonna talk about the stuff you enjoy. I'm gonna build in the areas that like I'm passionate about. And like I didn't even talk about some of my other startup businesses. You mentioned Trove. Trove is a content business around sports cards and collectible, because like I've been a collector my entire life. I got like really back engaged and involved in the sports card space like before COVID, throughout COVID. And that was just something that I built as a passion project. So like I'm very like, after I built and sold my first company, I'm very much of the mindset. It's like, if I see a good opportunity, I find a good industry, I want to build in that industry, because I have this like startup bug that's like not going away, and I can't help myself, but I just continue to build.
That's awesome. I love that. Now, do you remember the first legal business? Because I know you started hustling early on, right? So you technically started a business in elementary school, from what I understand. Like, that's awesome. But like your first legal business, what was that? And what did you learn from it? If you don't mind me asking, like your first legally formed one.
My first legally formed business was actually the Crown League, which was the
Oh,
fantasy
was it?
concept.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So that's
So well, what happened when I was on Wall Street, there's so many restrictions around outside businesses. You can't do shit, right? So I'm licensed, like I have my series 7, 5, 3, 61. I can't even remember at this point. And like you're restricted from outside businesses. You're restricted from like basically doing anything. You're restricted from outside activities. You're restricted from buying stocks, selling stocks. It was a nightmare. And my issue, not just working on Wall Street post 2007, 2008, when compliance just started coming down on everyone just because of the financial crisis, was working for a public company and having this ceiling above me where it's like, I want to do certain things. I want to underwrite certain clients, and they're not allowing me to because of the Wall Street restrictions of compliance and legal restrictions. So I was like, I need to get the hell out of here, right? I want to be able to do things on my own. And that was like, when we launched our first company, it was ultimately like, now we're incorporating and now it's happening. And, that was the beginning of all this madness. So
that's awesome. That's crazy. I'd like to take a quick moment before I forget. Usually I start off the episode this way. What's up, Kubi Play? I hope I'm not butchering this. Kubi Plays. Thanks for tuning in. Fisher. Mirza. Thanks for tuning in. Turtle About Town.
Turtle.
Yeah, Turtle. I love it.
Daft. We got the Chibi crew in here.
Let's go. LFG. I usually try to keep it PG here, but I always mark not for kids because there is no filter. So don't worry about that. I love it. I'd love to talk on Chibi. Like, what first inspired you and your team? And I'd love to also take a moment to spotlight the team and give everybody a quick TLDR. But what was that spark for Chibilabs?
Yeah, so it's not your kind of typical journey way, startups come together or projects come together. So my journey brought me back to the Web3 space through NFTs with Top Shot. Top Shot, I saw what they were doing with the NBA. They got the licensing rights and the IP. And I said, wow, this is an amazing use case. And coming from the sports world, I was like really impressed with everything they were building. I got very much into Zedrun, which was the horse racing platform, because the gamification properties, I've been building gaming products for a long time. I thought it was brilliant what they were building. And then I got sucked into the PFP space, and I started buying, JPEGs of animals. And my buddy, who I actually brought into the space, he goes by HBizzle 3500.eth or NFT Sniper Bot. He actually found the original Genesis collection of Chibilabs, which was at the time I think only 100 3D collectibles, and he introduced me to, and he started acquiring like a pretty decent sized collection, and he approached me and he's like, hey, like, I think there's something really unique here. And I was completely drawn to the collection. I love the idea of 3D versus 2D. And I thought the artwork was just like next level compared to what was already in the space. So he introduced us to our third partner, Fabs. And the three of us got on a phone call together and we said, hey, Fabs, what's your goal of this project? What's your goal for the future? And Fabs was basically like, I just like making art and I like building cool things. And we're like, let's take this thing to the next level. So we decided to form a partnership and develop Chibilabs. And September of last year, we went out and we launched our first generative collection, ChibiApes.
Let's go. It's funny too. I believe it was, how am I having a brain fart? One of those days today, Slade, who connected us. I think Slade caught my interview with Mojo Heads founder Moby.eth and connected us. And what's funny is I have a Chibi Ape. I got a Chibi Egg, right, from the airdrop, I believe. So I was already a HODLer before we made this connection. We have spotlighted your beta, right? You're in beta right now, just on a few of our blockchain gaming segments on our Thursday streams.
Cool.
We just haven't clipped anything yet. I want to, as you guys unravel and, I'd like to talk on that front, the Chibiverse. What does your day-to-day look like during this bear market? Is it all around Chibi, or do you have a lot of different things you're working on?
Yeah, I mean, look, me personally, I'm kind of unique in the sense that I have a lot of different businesses, a lot of things that I'm working on, but I have the ability to juggle things because I'm like always on and I'm always working. I contribute and allocate a lot of my time to Chibis, and we've been working super hard through this bear. I think, one of the main things that we've discussed internally is throughout this bear market, and I've lived through bear markets on Wall Street. I've lived through bear markets in the crypto industry in 17, 18, and I know that capital preservation and runway is one of the most critical things for long-term success. And whereas guys like Slade on my team are trying to push growth initiatives, which I love because I love their energy. I'm talking about like, how do we extend our runway as long as possible, because we have a ton of stuff that we need to continue building. So, for us, we've been really focused on how to provide entertainment, how to provide education, how to provide access and real utility to our community for now, so they can really extract value out of our project while we're building. And, for us, that's been one of the most important things. I've always approached this as like a long-term business and long-term business plan, but it's not just about like, how do we make quick money? How do we create value and create, price appreciation for our holders and floor price? That's not what we're about. And I think we've been very vocal about that from the beginning, so people don't come in with the expectations that they're here to make money fast. And because of it, I look around my community, a lot of people who came into our community not necessarily trying to make money, but looking to extract value, have gone on to, work for other projects, work for our project, created our spaces team, contribute in the Web3 space in a much more meaningful way than, they would have ever expected. So we're creating opportunities for people, we're educating them, and we're teaching them how to, build their brand and build their careers, not just in Web3, but even outside of Web3. So I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of like the value I've been able to, create for the community, and some of the wisdom I've been able to, bring to our collectors. And, it's a two-way street. I learn all the time from our community, from our team, and I love it. I don't have all the answers. This is completely new and nascent space. So we're all learning at the same time, and, we're going to grow together.
I love that. I love how you mentioned being transparent about, hey, don't come on board if you're here to flip, right? Like, because that attracts the wrong type of attention and, more importantly, energy, right? I don't know if you're a believer in energy, especially in the Discord and Web3 community.
It's everything.
Right? If you have certain short-term economic mindsets.
Energy equals culture. It's all about building the right culture. Yeah. And the bad energy that comes into, sorry to steal the spotlight, but
no, please. That's what this is about.
The bad energy, like we've seen it before, right? We've had so many iterations. We've had 4 collections. We've been around for a year and a half. I've seen so many people come in with the wrong expectations, with the wrong goals of being part of this community, and they burn out quickly. And it's always their exit is always ugly. And I can't be any more transparent or honest with people, and you'll still find people who are upset with you. And it sucks, but like, you're not going to please everyone, and it's important that you're transparent, you're accountable. Like, that was the first thing that I did, and I think it was kind of unique to the Web3 space at the time. But I came into the Web3 space and I said, I'm a very public person. You could find a lot of information about me on the internet. I am going to be front and center as the leader of this brand, along with my partners. And I'm going to be there every single week, accountable to my collectors, to my project. And as a result, I think a lot of people develop trust in us. And, even when we have to report, negative stuff and bad things, people are always really responsive, and they don't react negatively. And I think, we've created a much nicer atmosphere and a much better culture for our project and our community.
I love that. And the fact that you're on the show right now, for example, during a bear market, I've witnessed a lot of projects and teams just disappear. I'm still here. I'm still doing the show. I may have gotten a little quiet, but that's because I'm wearing a lot of hats, but consistently showing up for the community, for, what you believe in. It shows with you being on this show right now, and your community here in the audience. Shout out Alex, I believe you just tuned in. What's up? Thanks for tuning in, man.
We have an amazing community. I mean, like, there's some people like AMG Ghost, Alex. He's been in the community for over a year. Slade, who's been with our team over a year now. Some of these guys and gals, Mirzda, for instance, has been like, they show up day in, day out. Actually, Turtle, who's our community manager, has been in the community longer than I have. So I think it just shows like people's commitment to this. And again, there are people who probably have lost money being in the NFT space. They've lost money being part of the Chibi community, but I think people just believe in what we're building long term and are passionate enough about what we're doing in our community that they're going to continue to come, day in, day out, or week in, week out, to hang out and to spend time with us, because I think there's enough knowledge and wisdom that's being transferred back and forth. I've seen, entrepreneurial folks in our community come together and build things together. It's amazing. I think there's a lot of magic that's come out of our community. So I really, you'd love to see it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And I'd love to expand on your community, on Chibilabs, Chibiverse. What does and I love, like, you're hitting the nail here, because early on you mentioned that this isn't a short-term thing for you. So this question's perfect for you. What's the roadmap, if you don't mind sharing, in the next 12 to 24 months? Now, maybe you have a shorter timeline at the front of your mind, but I'd love to hear, like, what's that look like?
Yeah, look, my goal, and the reason why I've been so attracted to the space, I've always looked at this space as Web3 is the ability to democratize the ownership of certain IPs. I think is one of the more compelling opportunities that exist for brands. And my goal has always been, empower our community and give them the tools that they need to commercialize their IP. So how do we create partnerships? How do we create platforms that educate, empower, and ultimately give them the opportunity to commercialize their Chibi IP? And, whether it's going to come through gamification, video games, augmented reality, whatever it may be, I want to figure out how to monetize, the community's IP on behalf of them. And I think that's something that's really important. Like, my vision has always been for Chibis, similar to like Pokemon, for instance. Just imagine Pokemon was a private entity that was, owned by individuals, and they basically created these characters. And then we as consumers developed affinity and fandom for these characters. We collected them, we watched them on TV. But what if we had the opportunity as collectors to own that IP and to see those characters rise to prominence and popularity and become adopted mainstream? And we ultimately, as collectors, own the upside in those individual IPs. I think that's like one of the more fascinating value propositions that exists today. And I think that's why Web3 is so interesting to people.
And I love how you mentioned that, because when I bought my Chibi Ape, shout out first and foremost to the Chibi Apes. I love anything monkeys. BitMonkey is my brand, right? I originally started it 2014 to be a Bitcoin consulting firm to teach people about Bitcoin. That was after 2 years of being in the space, and my focus group was not good, friends and family. I steered towards another path, but as you could tell, like, I've climbed things ever since I was a kid. I don't want to squirrel too bad, but I call my monkey the Moonwalker monkey, because I got these fire, like it's weird. It's like, got the beanie, I got this weird suit, and then the firefighter boots, I believe they're called, but they look like more like Moonwalker boots to me. So I really resonate with my Chibi from that perspective. I could come up with a really cool brand and buyer persona that I think people would vibe with my ape. And I loved how you touched on this. Like, that's your focus for apes over the next few years, or how can you make this a possibility for everybody? How can you, right?
Yeah, and one of the things that really attracted me to this was that, when Fabs originally created the NFTs, he made the 3D files available to all of our collectors. And I thought that was something that was so game changing. We're talking summer of last year, that you could actually go on our website and pull the FBX and GLB files down, take these rigged characters and pop them into Mixamo and all these different applications and start creating animations. And some of our community members in here, you got Turtle, you got Ghost, are like amazing at creating content. They're creating their own content with their Chibis, and the ability, again, to empower your community, who are your best ambassadors, to go out and spread the word about Chibis by creating content, is just, I think, is just something that doesn't exist anywhere, right? You have people who are doing it on social media to build their own brands, but we're building this collective brand together.
I love that. Has there been any proposals from the community for, any ideas as far as creating a brand within using their Chibi Ape?
Well, first, I'm going to say there's no such thing as a proposal within our community, because our community has a voice, right? Someone has a question, someone has an idea, they just come to us, and we're very supportive of everything. So there's no let's go to an official vote for something. And that's what I think that's what's super cool about our community.
Very homey, right?
Yeah, it's just every single person on our team started as a collector. I have, collectors and community members come to me all the time. They're like, hey, we want to contribute. And I'm like, these are people that come and they hang around our spaces, they hang in our Discord. I'm like, we'd love for you to be part of the team, because who better to represent the team than, some of our most passionate collectors. So that's been the coolest part about building this business. You actually get to build with people who are passionate about what you're doing. I'm like, I've been managing teams forever. I'm like, how hard it is getting people to work on any given day. So, I mean, that's what's been super cool about building in this ecosystem, is you have people who are truly passionate about what we're doing. That's the first part. The second part is, yeah, there have been brands that are being built out. I mean, we had Wallace the Fro, who was, a personality, a comedic personality, who's super cool. I think he's taken a little bit of a hiatus, but there's some really good content out there around him. We have a couple really talented designers and animators out there who have taken their Chibi IP and they're doing really fun stuff. We were just in a contest with Chain Spirit, who's a new NFT project, who's putting 2 of our Chibi apes on wine bottles. So like, there's a lot of cool stuff that's happening. We're talking with a company, I think Toy Mores is the name. They're putting chibis, they're creating toys out of chibis. So like, there's a lot of cool stuff we're doing with our IP, and you know, people love our IP. I think it's super cool, it's super fun, it's playful, it's us. It represents who you are. Like, chibis are meant to be moody, and like, you look at there's you're never gonna find a chibi that's smiling. They all have like these moody smirks on them and stuff. So there you go.
That's my chibi. I finally pulled it up.
Oh wow,
here.
I like him.
That's why I call him Moonwalker, because the beanie has
man.
the moon on it. And I'm like, oh, this is my Moonwalker chibi right here.
I love that.
With the 3D glasses. So I'd have
How'd
to
you find out about chibis?
Ooh, it was a friend of mine who turned me on to this project, Scotty B. You might know him as Scott Barrero on Twitter. He might have actually renamed his username to OX Scotty B. But he originally, he was like, dude, I know you like the monkeys, check these out. And then I went down a rabbit hole, and I had more than one. Ooh, when was this? Let's see. So I transferred this to my demo account. So this was a year ago.
I love that. I mean, we just minted
September 11th. Oh, it was On-Chain Monkey mint day. That's right.
We minted September 9th. That was our mint day. So you picked it up right after mint.
Mm-hmm. I remember I was all over the On-Chain Monkeys this day as well.
That's crazy. Dude, our mint day, our original mint, our first generative drop was the Chibi Apes. And I don't know if you remember, but we did this. We wanted to make this accessible to all, right? At the time, people were doing 0.1 mints, 0.075s. We said, hey, we want to make a collection that's, you know, anyone could buy into. So we launched at 0.025. And I mean, this thing sold out in like 15 seconds. It was like the most surreal experience that I've ever been a part of.
And in September, that's a good, you were one of the
it was
early
a bit of
ones at that price.
It was early, but it was also a bit of a bear at the time. We probably could have sold for a lot higher, but it didn't even matter. I mean, it was just building our community, building the hype around everything. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the minute we minted out, I was like, holy shit. I was like, you know, I always kind of looked at this as like almost building a company. I was like, this is like launching an IPO. And now I have, you know, a whole group of investors or stockholders who, you know, responsible for. So like at that moment, something clicked in my head. I was like, I'm not operating an art project. I'm operating a real business here.
And I think we can all see that with your transparency, with you showing up, with your background, your track record. I mean, and you haven't gone quiet throughout this bear market. You're here. I mean, you're hopping on shows, you're doing your part, and then some, I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah, I love this. I got pulled into his spaces right before we were supposed to go on earlier. And we ended up canceling our earlier recording time. I ended up spending like 40 minutes on there. It was fun. Like, oh, nice. I love this stuff. I mean, I could do this all day, every day, as long as my schedule permits. I do it in between meetings and calls and whatever else I got going on. So
let's fucking go. Forgive my language, but we have to do the LFG. I'd love to talk Chibi Alpha. I know most of the teams here too, so maybe you're restricted on what you can say, but like, is there anything you can share on the show that maybe you're about to announce, or maybe little hints at what's to come? Maybe there's questions in the community that you could subtly answer here on the show.
Oh, you want me to put this on a recorded show, huh?
It's I try to ask that as delicately as possible.
All right, so I'll give 2 bits. Again, NFA, not financial advice.
He knows what's up.
We have been in conversations with a rather large Web3 strategic partner for several months now. Obviously, bear markets typically delay any sort of deals, but there could be something big coming down the pipe. So there's no guarantees there, but we're having really productive conversations with a really big name in the space. So that's one thing. And again, like, you know, this isn't, I mean, it's not necessarily material information. It's definitely something that could really drive, you know, potentially engagement and adoption and things like that. But the one thing that we've been working on for several months now, this started at NFT NYC. We actually identified an amazing gaming development studio in New Zealand called Beyond. They were responsible for launching the Fluff Burrows, if you're familiar with those. They're some of the most talented designers and game developers. A really small and mighty team out of New Zealand, but they actually just doubled in size recently. And I reached out to them on a whim, saying like, "Hey, we love everything you've done. We'd be so interested in partnering up with you." And they responded to me, and they're like, "Hey, we're familiar with Chibis. We love what you do. Let's talk about it." And we started talking. They actually the two founders and owners of the business came out to New York for NFT NYC. And I didn't know this at the time, but they were like vetting us, and like I didn't realize, but we were dating that weekend. And like, the last day we were there, we ended up hosting an immersive art experience with them, which was planned. And they're like, "Hey, let's announce that we're partnering together." We're like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's do it," which was super exciting. So we just formalized an arrangement with them. We're going to be going out publicly around the details of what it looks like, but they're going to be our partners to build the Chibiverse, which is going to be our own interpretation of the metaverse with gaming properties and gamification built into it. And it's a really, really big deal. They are the most talented people that I've worked with on the design and development side, so I'm super excited about that. And I think when we roll out the information about the details of the partnership, I think that the market's going to get super excited about that too. So those are 2 bits of alpha. Not crazy alpha. Our community is super familiar with it already, but just keep an eye out for some of the news that's going to be coming down soon.
So that's definitely some alpha if you've been sleeping on the Chibilabs Discord, which I have. That's exciting. So Fluff World, right? Isn't that the 3D rabbits?
Correct.
Right? Okay. I remember vetting out that team just myself when that project was minting. I slept on that project. I had the opportunity to mint. I chose not to. I don't know why.
I remember where I was. I was at actually the hall. I was in Canton, Ohio last year for the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and my buddies hit me up, and they're like, "Yo, this is minting right now. Get involved." I was like getting gassed out. I was actually at the ceremony at that time. I remember exactly where I was. I missed it, and they like shot up to 1 ETH literally in like 2 or 3 days.
Like instant, right? It was just, I remember Jimmy coming into the VFriends Discord and just posting a link and disappearing. And that was the link. But I didn't want to go blindly mint without looking into it. By the time I looked into it, came back, minted out. Yeah. I was right here in this office. I remember where. But that's an awesome partnership, man. That's exciting news.
Yeah, super
so we'll
excited
make sure
about
to clip this for you, and not only in the interview long form, but we'll have some short form clips for you to share with your community too. So
I think I think where we've been able to excel as a brand in the Web3 space is around partnerships. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I have a lot of good commercial relationships and corporate relationships. Beyond is going to be an amazing partner for us. As I mentioned, we partner with Jadu Hologram. We were one of the first 5 projects on their platform. It was us, Kongs, Meebits, I think maybe Fluff. Yeah, I think it was Fluff, which was like in really good company. I mean, Chibi's being considered as part of that initial group was just awesome. We did a partnership with Arizona IST where we did a metaverse activation. So our Decentraland is all branded in Arizona IST, which is super cool. And then we did our Verizon partnership, which was, one of the biggest accomplishments I think we had. I think it was really important for the space and important for us to show that like, hey, we partnered with like, Fortune 500 company and brought them into the Web3 space. So that was super cool.
Man, that's really awesome. And please do toot your own horn. I mean, this is information that I think the public should know about what Chibi Apes are up to, what you and the team have been up to, and the fact that you're still here building and strategizing and looking towards the future, right? And not looking towards an exit, I think is really special. it's something you don't see too often in a lot of these projects that have just floated away.
Well, I wouldn't use that exit term interchangeably. If someone wanted to come and buy Chibis and wanted to form a strategic partnership, we'd be all over it. But we're definitely not exiting stage left.
Yeah, definitely misspoke on that one. Yeah, for sure. Right? Because I mean, you would have
always
to
a good thing. That's always the end goal, right?
Right, because you definitely have to evaluate it too, and I'm sure anybody watching this live or recording would have to agree, right?
Yeah, look, I have to say this, like in my career, you know, an exit is, it depends what the acquisition looks like, right? In most cases, it's usually joining a bigger partner that's going to infuse your brand with capital to help you continue scaling the brand. We've all heard the horror stories of selling to potential suitor where there's no synergies, and then things don't go so well. But like, I'm not in the business of selling my company to a partner that wouldn't make sense. So
you care enough about what you've built to not just let it go into any hands, essentially, right?
Hell yeah.
It's
my baby.
That. Right? No, and I love that because there's different types of operators. There's operators who would do that without second thought. So I think it really shows that, I mean, your community is being led by an awesome team, included yourself. So shout out to everybody tuning into this live stream. Now, is there anything that you'd like to touch on that maybe I didn't touch on? I'd like to be mindful of time. I know we have an hour for this stream. So we have a 15-minute segment to close out this interview portion, which are the questions. But we have a couple minutes here to kind of open the floor and chat on anything maybe I may have missed with Chibi.
Yeah, and Chibilabs. No, we're just gonna continue building. I mean, we touched on the game for a little bit. Oh my God, Ghost just bought another naked ape. He's crushing it. He's got an amazing collection. We didn't touch on the game. I think I'm sorry if I'm doing a lot of talking about myself, but like, I have to give a huge shout out to Fabs, who's obviously the original. Yeah, bring that up on screen. I want to see what he bought.
Ooh.
It's a clean yellow guy. Fabs is just so brilliant. I mean, Fabs is the artist behind this, but Fabs also generates a ton of the tech and has built a lot of our IP. What we built with the Chibi game, I know some people are looking for like a fully integrated game that could do all these things with bells and whistles, but what we've been able to build with the small dev team has just been amazing. And I have to give just a huge shout out to Fabs for all of that. I mean, he developed a proprietary game that's connected to the transformation of our ChibiFrens, and it's just incredible. I mean, we continue to innovate and stay ahead of the curve, and some of the things we've been able to do wouldn't be possible to other communities and other projects without a Fabs.
Oop, I was muted there. Forgive me, I was working with new hotkeys here and it did not put up the right person as you were talking. It's beta.chibilabs.io if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's the game.
Game.chibilabs.io. I don't know why I thought it was beta. Yeah, let's at least bring it up on screen. I did play it a little bit and I'm going to continue to play it some more. But right now, to my knowledge, right, you go in and it's very similar to the on-chain monkey where you go in, you press a button, right? And then you wait X amount of time to come in and claim certain rewards, right?
I don't know what their game is, but yeah, it's a passive game. You send your ChibiFrens on missions. You optimize your missions by creating different types of teams. So you could develop a team just based on the composure of the team or complexion of the team, just how many which species to send out, and depending on the makeup of the team will ultimately drive the performance of that team. The higher the performance, the more coins you collect, the higher XP level you collect, and you essentially get to evolve your friend over time. And you evolve your friend from an egg to a baby to a fully grown pet. And in the end, you know, depending on the XP, you'll be able to unlock rarer traits. So it's an off-chain game with on-chain implications.
Okay, very nice. Do you have any plans in the future to do any type of like 3v3 auto brawler, for example, or something along those lines after you, of course, build up and go through this first stage in the gaming?
Yeah, so this is the beta version. Maybe that's why you're typing in beta. But once you're in here, you could see there are certain features locked, like the clan feature, like the battle feature. These are features that we're going to roll out over time. And you know, you could, if you check in your inventory, you could essentially earn like traits and swag, and there's certain things that you're going to be able to use with these features later on.
I'm logging in right now to give a kind of a video prop here. Just got to grab my demo account. One moment here. Yeah, I've been back and forth with my schedule, so now I spend half my time in Portugal, half my time in the States here in California.
Nice.
So yeah, it's nice. The issue for me is trying to find a consistent stream time, and like consistent for the audience more than for me, right? So that I show up every day of the week at the same time, no matter what. But I've found that very difficult being in the two different time zones. You know what I mean?
It's all good.
11 a.m. seems to be the winner, but that's all, you know, just a work in progress, right? I don't know all the answers, just as you said earlier, right? You don't know all the answers, but you're figuring it out, and you figure it out together as a community, and you take in all the input from not only the team, but your community members and holders alike, right?
It's the Web3 way.
What's up, Luke? Let's go. Yeah, we're almost up here. Now, let's see here. You should see this popping up on the screen. Not too much ETH in this one. I don't know if you run into this issue. Yeah, it's connected. Interesting. Is there something? It could be my end here. I use a lot of different profiles for demos and whatnot on Brave browser and Chrome. There we go. Just needed to get reloaded there. Let's go. Gotta love all the cozy, you know, sorry, I almost said cozy fam. All the Chibi fam in the audience. Yeah, as you can see, I've been popping on.
You got 3 stars right there.
I'm telling you, yeah, I've hopped on I think 2 or 3 times. So
what do you have, an elephant? I can't see that.
I don't know. How do I figure out? So I'd love for, you know, a rundown of what I have. Like, I've popped in and I've popped into, where did I go? I believe it was Mission, right?
So if you go back, if you click on the top right of the elephant egg, right there, the eye, that will show you.
Oh, yes, I do.
So you see it's the elephant type. It shows you the background. You could actually go feed. I mean, which is super cool. If you go on the right side to files,
ooh,
you could grab an image. You could grab a video. So there's your image. Go to the video. You got your spinning egg. Look at the level of detail on that. It's super cool. And then you can download.
Insane.
And then you could download your 3D files, the GLB files.
You know what's awesome? This is very easy. It's one click. You don't have another block, another step.
Don't play around, man.
You don't. This is really awesome. Very easy to use, user friendly. And I'm assuming it's the same here, right?
Yeah, it's a little different for your apes. We actually have another place where you could get all those files and stuff. I mean, the ChibiFrens game ultimately was intended to be built for the actual friends themselves. But you know, those are new features that we'll add over time.
So I see this battle lock. I'm guessing this was related to my question of like when brawler, when auto brawler, when
so like
some type of PvP.
Go to market, for instance. If you see on market, there are actually people who are like selling some of these things. So like you have traits, you have boosters. If you go to booster on the left side, you'll see attack, defense, and health on the top.
Loving it.
and then you could click on trait. And you see these are some of the back years that we had like a limited edition drop for certain participants over time. And like the thing that's super cool, like if you go back to home and go to the leaderboards on the right side.
I didn't even notice the leaderboards. Wow.
Yeah, so we do weekly contests. We have some really devoted players, and like I'm not going to say we have thousands of daily active users, but we definitely have hundreds. And people come back like time, week after week. I mean, you look at our all time and look at the amount of XP that's been earned. It's like, it's really incredible. Like the amount of people who have participated in these games on a weekly basis. Like this is just our leaderboard for this week.
That's a lot of XP there. I'm just doing a quick calculation. I mean, a couple 100,000 easy peasy. I'm sure well over 1 million XP, maybe all time on the back end. Or you're not quite
I don't know what it. I don't know what it is in aggregate, honestly.
I got to start a mission here really quickly. I might as
yeah.
What would you recommend? Sorry to cut you off. Like if
you can't go anywhere, you got to go to the next mission.
Okay, so I can't finish this star. I shouldn't even bother.
Oh, you can. No. I would. The way I'd go about it is just keep going until you unlock every planet, and then what you do over time is you have a pretty weak crew. I'm not gonna lie, but I'll tell you this: hit me up in Discord. I'll send you another egg. You got to start building your crew out. You want to build a full team.
Okay. I noticed that.
I'll take care of you. Shoot me your address. I'll send you another team, another friend. Man. And then you'll just keep going until you get, you got to get through all the different missions to get to the end. When you get to the final planet, it's an 8-hour mission or maybe a 12-hour mission, and you generate the highest amount of XP. So there's a cap on the amount of people that are allowed on each stage at some point in the later rounds. And we have people who sleep on timers and they wake up in the middle of the night just to get that spot. It's crazy. It's really competitive. It's awesome.
Alex is telling me the game sounded so cool. Let's just listen to it for a second. It's also loud and scares the shit out of me in the middle of the night, but I love it. I think this is Elijah, right? Elijah, gang for the win.
Yeah.
I love it. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, so as I mentioned, I'm still sorting out the new schedule here. It's going to have a consistent start time pretty soon. But one thing we're also going to be doing is blockchain gaming segments within the long form. And I'll make sure I'm hopping on Chibilabs every time. Cozy Penguins is another one that I've been a part of since early on. I don't know if you've heard of that one. But like I do that on blockchain gaming as well. So I want to start doing these like as a duo. So I'm excited. I'll reach out in Discord.
Let's go.
You rock, man. Let's fucking go. I want to be mindful of time. Dude, right on. Like anytime you want to hop back on in the future too, let's do a round 2. I always recommend it. We can dig in anytime you have any, big news that you want to drop. It doesn't have to be the full hour too. We're going with the flow here. We're making adjustments right now, but this new Good Morning HODLer format goes about 3 hours. So.
I like it. It generates a lot of good content, so I don't have to talk about this stuff all the time. I go, just reference this link. I'll draft some traffic to you.
And by next week, I'll drop this clipped interview, more condensed, right? With its own video. I'll drop that link for you as well, because we'll continue on this stream for another 2 hours, right? So, but man, it's been a pleasure. Without squirrel ado, I'd like to get into the closing questions. But before I do you have anything for the audience? I'd like to give you the floor. Maybe you want to share some closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. I mean, I do this every week on our town hall.
Love that.
We're in a really kind of scary global economy right now. I've always looked at NFTs as a risk asset. I think, they're being treated and traded like a risk asset right now. So, approach it, with the amount of risk appetite that you can handle. Never overexpose yourself to NFTs or crypto or anything like that, because you don't want to find yourself in an uncomfortable financial position. So I tell everyone to buy responsibly. Hopefully you could get out more from this community than you put in. Just be safe and be responsible out there.
Love that. Thank you for sharing. Lovely closing thoughts there. All right. Are you ready? Now, I'll give you a quick rundown of these closing questions. You can go as in-depth as you'd like, right? Sometimes I'll ask for a tip or I'll ask two factors of something. But then when you hear one word versus the other, that's where you respond without thinking. You can think as much as you'd like, but like it's supposed to get that quick response of you on your end, right? And then number 7 is my favorite question. It's a 2-part question. You can take as long as you'd like to answer it. Yeah, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, let me get you full screen here. Number 1, what's one tip you have for your teenage self that you wish you knew? Now, this could be for all teenagers here growing through this bear market and global economic uncertainty right now.
My teenage self, don't be an asshole, be humble, and be willing to eat that humble pie. It's like, we all learned our lessons, some harder than others. And it's important that you're not thick-headed and you actually listen. I've learned a lot from mentors. I've learned a lot from experiencing, shitty things financially in the corporate world. But, that doesn't kill us, makes us stronger. So.
Love that. Thank you for sharing. Number 2, what's the 2 most important factors in your opinion when starting your own business?
Conviction and commitment.
Ooh, double C's too. I like that. Very good answer right there. I think a lot of people could benefit from that, right? Because we can all start with an idea, but if you don't have that conviction and you aren't committed to it, right?
Yeah,
like
it's
you
not
won't
even
have the
worth
discipline. You won't have the consistency to persevere, right? Really
Yeah,
love
I
that.
mean, I think the only reason I've been successful is because I've been so passionate about the things that I build. I've had such conviction, and I've been so committed to it. So, I don't think I would have otherwise been successful had I not.
Love that. All right, number 3. What's one message you have for anyone here during this bear market? Still here during this bear market?
Stay the course. Nothing's changed long term. And I'm not even talking about the project specifically. I'm talking about like when you take a step back and zoom out. We're not looking at a 3-week, 3-month, 3-year lens. This is this is a 10-year lens, a 30-year lens. If you feel strongly about something, keep working towards that goal. Continue to learn as much as possible. I think the learning experiences you're going to pull from here are going to be things that serve you really well in your future. So stay the course and stay committed.
Love that. Number 4, mountains or oceans?
I'm going to say mountains.
Nice. Purpose or passion?
Passion.
Love it. Glass half empty or half full?
Half full. Come on.
Let's go. I got to put that in there. Number 7, last but not least, what does happiness mean to you? And then how do you define it?
Happiness is tough. I mean, I thought many times in my career that I was fulfilled and I found happiness and all this stuff until I started developing my family. I mean, marrying my wife and having my children are like a different type of happiness that you could ever feel than having like a big trade or a good experience. It's just like, that's the stuff that changes the way you feel about things and you look at things. Like my motivation for everything that I do is inspired like by my children and by my family. So, happiness is defined by my relationship with my family. It's the most important thing in my life. So.
Man, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for answering.
I don't think my wife's going to see this, but if you want to clip it and send it to my wife, you can.
Will do. I mean, we'll be clipping the closing questions. We'll clip every question for you. So
I'm just kidding. She never watches these things anyway.
Really? Okay. Right. She's like, oh, it's work related. I'm sure in her
Yeah.
mind, she's like, I don't want to watch it anyway. I don't want to take the time. Right.
I'll show it to my kids one day. I'll be like, you see, I mentioned you.
Right? You just never watched it. How dare you? No, I'm kidding. Man, I love it. Thank you so much for taking the time to hop on the show.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. Had a blast.
Sounds good. Let's do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again sometime, man. So for everybody else watching, we'll take a quick intermission, and then I'll be back here at 2:45 p.m., aka 5:45 p.m. to get rolling with the next segment. So,
Awesome.
but yeah, please do not forget to follow Sposta here, follow the Chibilabs, follow the HOF League as well. I'm excited to play more. I'm excited to spotlight ChibiFrens more and more and more on our blockchain gaming segments too. So.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Thank you to my community for coming out. I love everyone.
Big thank you. Hope everybody has a great rest of the day. All right.
Awesome. You too.
Cheers.
Take care.
All right, let's go on this loop here. Now they can still hear us, but man, it was a pleasure. Really appreciate it. And yeah, there's really no way to go backstage after an interview when we do this loop. So like, I got to find a better place.
So I'm not going to drop real alpha. I was going to drop real alpha, but too bad.
Oh, shucks. All right. Well, we could always hop on a one-on-one call. All right.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you again. All right.
Likewise.
Take care.
All right. Cheers.
All right,
bye. All right, everybody. I'll be back. Thank you so much. And please do hit that like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you aren't already. Appreciate your time today. And we'll be back for some NFT news and alpha, followed by the DraftKings Week 6 DFS Slate, where we look over cash, GPP, and Reignmakers, that new format. This is going to be a first look, of course, but we'll try to go as in-depth as possible. All right, see you soon. Who's still here? What's good? What's good? We are back. We are back. To BitMonkey TV's Good Morning HODLers, where we talk some NFT bytes, aka NFT News and Alpha. I want to see who's still here. Give a little monkey face in the audience for those still jamming. Let's fucking go. I hope you didn't mind the extended delay there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. As a reminder, we have another special edition tonight on BitMonkey TV in about 4 hours and 5 minutes to be exact. A spotlight special with the brightest star, aka Saqib S. Lazan. I hope I'm not butchering that. And aka Coke and Clicks. He's our spotlight winner for the Moral Monkey Bytes project. If you're unaware of what that is, please do check out monkeybytes.io. Our public mint closes on 11/11, and we give back 55% of all proceeds from mint and secondary back to the Give Back Fund. Excuse me. What's good, Luke? Which goes back towards token owners with a 0.15 budget in spending to spotlight that token owner and spotlight winner, which Saqib is. And we're very excited. We're going to dig into just ask. It's going to be more of a natural, fluid conversation that we normally have with interviews here on the show. I do have 7 closing questions for him. This is going to be me on video, him on voice. So we'll get some clipped content for voice to text, things like that. But very excited for that one. So please do tune in if you can make it. It's going to be a fun time. Now, without squirrel ado, let's get started. Any questions for today? Just pulling up a few props here. Forgive me. Could have been a little more prepared, but you know what? Sometimes we got to go with the flow. Sometimes going with the flow, you get the best content. All right. Boom, boom. All right. We're just pulling up a few things here. Now, this is thanks to the Daily Ralpha. Oh, Keith Grossman had a drop today. I think we already missed it. Yeah, that was at 8 a.m. Eastern, aboutnothing.xyz. Wow. Shoot. I'm going to have to start dropping this for our community the day before. As soon as this comes in, we might have to create some type of automated method here. Because this is some alpha that I think you could benefit from. Bam, bam, bam. All right. So New York is launching a very cool Web3 approach to fundraising in support of New York City Public Schools. The initiative is the brainchild of Keith A. Grossman, president of Time, board member of New York Cares, and chairman of Stand With Students, New York City's largest movement to help support Title I schools. David C. Banks, school's chancellor, has offered his endorsement, saying, as our city and our world continue to step further into the future, it is vital that we come together to nurture our students, teachers, and school community members in ways that meet the moment. Yeah, there's no period there. Hey, that threw me off. I was going to keep rolling to the next line. Oh, that's funny. To ensure a bright future for our young people, we must collaboratively take a technologically driven approach to supporting our schools and our young people. I appreciate New York Cares for doing just that and must thank them for their ongoing, innovative, and generous support of our students and our school communities. I really love this. This project is anchored by the release of a series of NFTs that were created by Grossman using AI technology and some of his favorite quotes and artist prompts. Starting today. Oh, so I did just mention this. You know what's funny? This article I didn't think was connected. So it's proper that this is the first one I'm reading here. Starting today at 8 a.m. Eastern, individuals on the About Nothing allow list will be able to mint unique digital pieces on aboutnothing.xyz. Is it too late for us? Is it too late for us? It doesn't look like it's too late. Looks like mint. There is no max mint. All proceeds go to charity. How special is that? I'll make sure to link this in the bio. Nice. They're using DALL-E. Interpretation of 25 Winston Churchill quotes displayed through stylistic interpretations of 13 incredible artists. So I'd like to squirrel into an idea that I had that it's just an idea, and let's call this the idea of the week. Where is the NFT project that focuses on, I want to choose my words carefully, that focuses on improving the infrastructure of reservation land within the United States? Because it is it's like a third world country if any of you have ever driven, and I haven't even gone to the bad parts. I've only heard stories and have been instructed, like, if you really want to see how bad it is on reservation land, go to these places. Now, I only had to see and hear from the people closest to me what it was like, and and correct me if I'm wrong, there may already be an NFT project that focuses on, and there's a lot of different reservation land, right? The Navajo tribe, for one. I'm not well versed and well educated in this field, so that's why I've never pursued this idea. But I don't see how an idea, if you find an artist on reservation land or a number of artists, right, who come from reservation land, I think that'd be really special. I think that'd be really, 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 really special. So, idea of the week. Without squirrel ado, we're going to get back into it. Excuse me. Nice. So minting will be open, and it's starting. Interesting. Nothing. Starting on Saturday at midnight and run through Sunday. So I guess this is a time restrictive mint. It's not going to be open forever. What's up? What's up, Moby? How you doing? Hey, yeah. So for the first hour, Sposta was on the show with us. So we'll make sure to clip that. Now we're going through some NFT Bytes, aka NFT News and Alpha, just going through the daily Alpha right now. And then we're going to close it out with some DraftKings talk. Some DraftKings Reignmakers Week 6 Cash GPP lineup strategy. We normally do some blockchain gaming, but what we're going to do later tonight is we're spotlighting Sakib at 7 p.m. Pacific. So we hope you can make it. Appreciate you for stopping by. No, Luke, I think he was talking about Sposta. Yeah, right. No worries. Yeah, it was the first. He was the first. Interviews always start off the hour. I know when you were on the show, we had a show that ended with the interview, but we do these long form now. And, I'm kind of going with the flow. I really appreciate you for stopping by. Yeah, later tonight, I'll send you a post and tag you if you don't mind. We're going to be spotlighting Sakib, aka Coke and Clicks, this evening at 7 p.m. Pacific. So, but that interview with Sposta was good, man. I'm backlogged on clipping just due to priorities, but we're showing up each week, which I think is the most important. So gotta work our way out from there. But man, thank you. How you doing today? Love it. Now, October becomes worst month. I don't know. I hate headline reading. Why did they show this article? Yeah, there's been a lot of things that have happened here if you're unaware. Now, I would highly recommend if you want to stay updated on crypto related news, make CoinDesk your weekly visit. You don't have to go every day, but a weekly visit. They incorporate charts, of course, but I've watched them expand from a blog, and like, they're just impressive. They're impressive. They bring you the news. To my knowledge, it's not, news that benefits one person over the other. It's news decentralized for the people, by the people, for the people, from what I understand, right? I hope it's not like another CNN in the making. Sorry, CNN. You're just the first one that came to mind. All news outlets, really. Yeah. Dude, I mean, it's already late. I hope you've been killing it today. How's the weather out out in Vegas? Is it starting to cool down here in October? I would imagine so, right? It's like you can go on nice, cool, breezy walks, but you might still have a heat wave or two, or like a cold flash at night. All right. Next up is Web3 Job of the Week. So if you're not familiar, we use a website called web3.career. Just look at what jobs are available. You can use LinkedIn as well. It's another great resource for finding jobs in Web3. And then before I get started in this, are you involved in a community already? Do you have Discord servers that you're in? Just start popping in, and the community that you vibe with the most, see if there's any opportunities, whether it's on a volunteer basis or not. Maybe a volunteer that works its way, call it an internship that is potentially paid after X amount after an evaluation. You can find opportunities within the communities that you're in, believe it or not. So oh yeah, Luke. Fuck the Scorpions. Wait, what do you mean Scorpions? What is Scorpions? Oh, okay. I saw a scorpion for my first time in Portugal on a dirt road. I was young, and guess what I did? I had a hoe in hand, a garden hoe, and I had a hoe for protection. As bad as that sounds, that's funny. A garden hoe, because we knew of these things roaming around, and unfortunately, sorry to the animal lovers out there, I did chop this scorpion in half, primarily its tail, because I was young and I didn't want to get stung, and I didn't want it to come creep up at that house later on and get me in the bathroom, because that bathroom was outdoors. It was a crazy experience over there. True farmland, generations grew up on this farmland. And it's still there. It's just vacant right now, unfortunately. Let's get straight. Luke caught the mojo bug. Let's go. I need to do better. I need to do better at opening up my schedule on Wednesdays to tune into your Mojo Live, because I know you've been killing it. And I'm excited for, I believe it's November 16th or November 9th. But Luke, let's fucking go. Luke is the real OG. Luke, what column should I tap here for you? What would you say is more sales, marketing? Let's find some opportunities right now live on the show with you, if you'd like. I love it. Now I spam. No, don't spam. Spamming is just another word for sharing. What's up, Zen? Let's go. Let's go look at sales. Is there a sales section here? So we can say non-tech, product manager, entry level. Shockingly, there's no really sales section. Oh yeah, there's. I'm just blind. It was dead center. Took me the last row to find it. Let's go. All right, Immutable Strategic Partnerships Director. Posted 1 hour ago. Head of Sales, USA. I know we need to find something over there, right? Preferably UK or Ireland. Business Development Lead, Binance. You come for the XP, stay for the virtual hugs. I love it. Full-time on-site or remote, Binance is the global blockchain company behind the world's largest digital asset exchange by trading volume and users, serving a greater mission to accelerate cryptocurrency adoption and increase the freedom of money. So, I mean, does this one seem appealing to you? Because this is a big company. I'm sure you've heard of Binance, right? We don't use it here in the US. They have a US version, but due to certain laws, they had to create a different platform just for the US. But if you're, based out of Europe or any of these, countries on that other side of the world, chances are you use this or you're well aware of it. I don't know, man. Let's see what the responsibilities are here. Develop new business opportunities across different channels in Europe and maintain relationships with clients. Drive business growth through partnerships and strategic agreements to increase market penetration, user acquisition, revenue, and other relevant metrics. Create and execute localized strategies to aid in the adoption of crypto-based ecosystem. I hate it when they do that. Increase operational efficiency throughout the business development organization. Co-develop and execute go-to-market strategies for new and existing products and markets. Cross-functional collaboration with internal stakeholders across different teams and geographies. That kind of sounds interesting, right? Doesn't that sound kind of like what you were doing? If anything, BDL role. Forgive me, what's this abbreviation? BDL. Is junior below? Hey, I appreciate you for stopping by, Moby. Much love. We'll see you soon. Have a great rest of your day and week, man. Oh yeah, this is forgive me. This one's based out of Singapore. I know that's a hub. CakeFi, some type of DeFi. Sales. I mean, I did toggle sales here, so it should be showing me all. What's this here? Head of sales. Do you have to be here in the States? Probably. Let's keep looking. Can we filter by city? Yes. Ireland? Hey. 20 days old. Let's look. Oak coin? Does this sound familiar? But see, when I toggle that, let me see if I can do that and then hit sales. Okay, so just one sales. Staff quantitative developer liquidity at Ripple. Hey, Ripple could be a thought there, especially if they have a base there in Ireland. Okay. I don't know why they would mark this as sales, but I feel like this is more than sales. You will apply your quantitative finance knowledge. Do you have quantitative finance knowledge, Luke? If not, we can move along. We can just tag UK. Nope, not Ukraine. Maybe London. Yeah, let's definitely toggle remote. Pine Protocol. Couple labs. I always like looking for established names, right? That way you have a little more job security than but let me ask, are you looking for more of an established company or brand to work with? Or would you want to take a chance on a startup? Yeah, you'd be surprised what crypto or Web3 native companies are based out of Ireland. We just don't really know. We just got to go look, Let's see. Okay, Polygon might be a good one if they have based. That's based out of India. And that was quite a few days back. Director Digital Strategy and Innovation at USGA. So this is the Daily Ralpha's Web3 Job of the Week. Bam. Bam. United States Golf Association, New Jersey. Interesting. I don't know what you bring. 7 years experience working in sports, media, technology, or related fields. I mean, you're media, right, Luke? You would fall under the media field, if I'm not mistaken. So let's check that box optimistically. Digital savvy with knowledge and comfort of the evolving landscape. I think you're savvy. You're early. You're here. Strong organizational and project management skills with the ability to multitask several time-sensitive projects simultaneously. Based off of what I know, I think that we're on a right track, maybe? I don't know. Strong written and communication skills with the ability to work effectively in partnerships, both internally and externally. I believe that checks another box. Experience managing team of highly motivated, skilled teammates. I think this checks another box. Deep level of curiosity with a growth mindset. I believe that checks a box, but I'm unsure because you're a family man, and the growth mindset of the family man is the growth of the family, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So you check that box. Knowledge of golf and the role. Okay, I don't think you check that box. Do you know golf? Out of all the boxes you check, this is at a golf. Oh my God. You gotta, at a golf association. So would you want to work at the golf association? But I can wing the golf. Yeah. Never know. Here, let's just go look by most recent remote sales. 6 days ago, Web3 sales lead part-time 100% remote. What's Dorg? Dorg is seeking a highly motivated person to lead sales activities, including client discovery, meetings, proposal writing, and closing, while creatively evolving our sales strategy. 5 years of experience in B2B tech sales. Yeah. It's a software development collective. This is what I wanted. What's Dorg? That builds decentralized tools and applications. Our organization pioneers new technologies and methodologies for distributed organizing and is the first DAO to be legally recognized in the US. No shit. I'll have to check up on that. Yeah, so this is great for the idea segment. I think we're going to do that too. So yeah, if anybody's curious, remember my 100 pieces of content in 100 days? Well, sure enough, I had some things pop up IRL that just took priority. Also, taxes due on the 17th. So that's my focus this next 5 days. But my day one of doing that, YouTube restricted me on more than 40 uploads in one day. So I don't know. I could have gone across different distribution platforms, but I felt that it was going to be a little too repetitive unless I created a whole new account for it. Getting 100 pings in Discord in one day might make people leave your Discord. So, it was a fun attempt, and we're going to be doing 7 ideas a day instead. And that's going to be starting very soon along with my daily drawings. We're just sorting out this tax season, getting through these next 10 days to be safe. And we'll be hitting it hard after this gift goat event in Atlanta. So I fly out in about 2 weeks to Atlanta. So on the 27th, we're going to have a different scene, most likely, for the show. And a different time. I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted. But I did book a spot. It's got a great view. Depends on how early checkout time is. We'll have to fit in a show before I check out. You're going to want to see this view. And speaking of GiftGo, if anybody watched, I need to come up. I don't want to pull that up live, but I need to see if there's any recordings of that Zoom call earlier because I missed it. That's why the whole delay today is just a chain of events from this morning that I thought I had more time to do something and I didn't, and it backfired. And yeah. Zero. As you could see, I have messages in there from my IT days. Like LinkedIn for me was always an IT building tool, but I found my niche with my audience and built my business up to a certain level and didn't really want to exceed that, especially after the cancer of my doggo, which shifted everything after the fact, right? But I know LinkedIn is very powerful, but I haven't been doing any LinkedIn content for the show yet. And I'm being honest, like I'd love to squirrel off into thoughts about the show because I've been thinking more and more and more. Like this interview we had today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I originally had a preset script and line of questions for Matt, but I chose to switch it up and keep 3 questions on my plate aside from the closing speed round and let the conversation flow and evolve rather than have these predefined questions that a lot of times mess with the flow and the energy of the stream, of the interview. Moving forward, you're going to see a different approach with interviews because I love the flow of a conversation when you have 2 or 3 talking points in mind, but you start off with what's their journey leading up to this point? What are they up to during this point, during this present moment? And you bounce off of those 2 topics. And then you have that closing speed round question. So I really enjoyed it. And I'm constantly making adjustments here on the show. As you've learned, like a few weeks ago, I had a different mindset with interviews, or a few months ago, rather. So I love it. But I will admit, like, as soon as I define exactly what I'm doing here, I will be more thoughtful about creating pieces of content across every possible distribution platform. The one thing I don't want to do right now is waste people's time. So let's say I do go and create all this piece of content on LinkedIn, but then I change the focus of the show. Well, the original focus of, you know what I mean? Yes, I get the subscriber count. Yes, I get these numbers that go up and up and up, but I never did this for the subscriber count. I'm still not doing it for the subscriber count. I'm doing something because I enjoy it, and I want to make sure it's always enjoyed because I think it'll be even more enjoyed on your end. And obviously listening to feedback and making adjustments, but always enjoying what I'm doing first and foremost. Because if I'm not enjoying myself, chances are you're not enjoying the content. So that's the reason for just staying consistent with the show and not being too aggressive on anything aside from Twitter, because that's the primary communication tool I use right now. Don't think I haven't been thinking of it. I have TikTok, YouTube Shorts. If you've seen my Adobe Premiere, my different sequences, it's all in one now. When I clip out and create different episodes, I have a horizontal sequence and a vertical sequence that I could just create clips of on the go, on the fly. We're just finding our flow here. But Uncle Sam is the most important. Got to answer to Uncle Sam first. Over the next 5 to 7 days, And I'm excited for November. Excited for November. November is going to be a great month. All right. Without squirrel ado, you guys want to get into Reignmakers? Shall we get into DraftKings? I think we've had enough. Let's get into DraftKings. I think we have a slate today, so let's actually look at the showdown slate if anybody's going to play. And then for anybody wanting to join the league, I posted the link. I'll post it again here. I created a weekly league, and I'm eventually going to tie in prizes off of DraftKings. So we'll do a prize pool in Discord that will correlate to the contest on DraftKings. But it's free to enter. You don't get any payouts from DraftKings, but you will get payouts. Now, we're going to keep it free for now, but stay tuned for the contest details and the prize pools moving forward. Let me just go to my league, pull it up. So nobody's in it yet, but share link. Here's the link if you have a DraftKings account. Come and play. Doing some fun weeklies. I didn't look at the results from the weekly last week, but I believe I did win it. I was looking at your guys' lineups. Very interesting. You went with your hometowns in most cases. I don't think Greek went with his hometown, or maybe he did. But we're going to pull that open. Pull open Reignmakers. Pull open this Thursday night game. That starts in an hour and 49 minutes. Excuse me. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, you just get to stare at my face here. I'm just preparing these screens for us all. That's what happens when you do it live. There's some downtime. There's that prep time. Now, there's no VFriends contest, so let me just go to any old contest in the lobby. Do that. Zoom that in. Why isn't it showing? It's not showing the right screen. It's weird. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure. See, these are all starting today. Oh, you can't see my screen, eh? These are all starting today. We want Sunday. There we go. All right. So you know me. I look at biggest odds. Let's go see what this week looks like. I like how they have updated their GUI, aka graphic user interface. And let me get rid of my tile there. Interesting. Look at how this looks. This is tripping me out. Pretty sweet. Yep. This is, just looking at the slate before this stream, this was one of my favorite games. The Seahawks and Arizona Cardinals. They opened up at 47, and they're now a 3.5 point difference. Vegas implied game total is 50.5 in favor of Arizona. But what's interesting here is it's only a 2.5 points. The spread's not too big. So it's looking like it's going to be a competitive game. I mean, before looking at Vegas, you could say the same thing. So it's a no-brainer sometimes. But I like this one. I like this one here. And it's just because Lamar Jackson has had 2 down weeks after, opening up the season with 40-point averages. And I think we're gonna see a 40 burger out of him. NFA, of course, proceed with caution. Another one I'm interested in is Bucks with Pittsburgh. I know the game total is not too exciting. This is more GPPs, but I like running a Tom Brady stack running back with Pickens. Pickens is somebody I've been on and that I've been personally playing since he was in the 3Ks, and he's now priced up. We'll see how much he costs this week. But GPP, I like that stack approach. Love this game here. I love how Tevin Coleman is going back to Atlanta. Now, he's the second back, but he might be the move in GPPs this week. Now, with Reignmakers, you're kind of limited to the cards you have. So let's go look at what cards I have to build lineup. Yes, I'm loving it. So give me Kyler Murray, please, and thank you. I want to stack him up with Brown, no doubt. I also want Ertz in there. I want to take full advantage of this. Do I have any Seahawks players? I don't think I do. So we're just going to have to rock. I don't. And I don't want to buy any. Mitchell should be coming back soon. I think it was only out up to 6 weeks. So 6 to 8 weeks, I mean. We haven't used the superstar yet, which I love. All right. So this could backfire, but I can't pull that off. I can't pull that off. Yes. Yep. I'm going to grab Barkley. I think, one of those 50 score games is coming soon. His usage is insane. And that leaves a superstar spot. You know what? But Diggs in that game environment. So forgive me for overlooking one of arguably, I thought it was Sunday night for some reason. This is another game here that I'm very excited about that you should definitely target in your cash and even GPP lineups and Reignmakers lineups. I mean, these 2 game environments right here, they both are the afternoon slate. I might, for my MME, just uncheck all the games for the full slate and just target these 2 games in the afternoon slate and see what happens. Because I think I don't know. I think you can build a lineup between those 2 games in the afternoon slate. Ooh, that's an interesting approach this week. That is an interesting approach this week. Let's finish building this one. Let's put in Barkley. That way we can use... Oh, yeah. Dalvin Cook. He might be finding his flow. Kind of like this one here. Now, I don't like how Miami or Minnesota's at Miami. I generally like getting running backs who are at home and favored. And that would be Aaron Jones. So I'm not using a superstar in this lineup because, you know what? Like, this is a solid lineup. I like it without a superstar. Is that stupid? I don't know. But we shall see. I'd rather not just play a star because they're a star, because they might not be in a better scenario. Because Christian McCaffrey at Los Angeles, I'm not going to play that over Aaron Jones at home against New York Jets. I'd much rather play Aaron Jones. Just first look. Now, let's look into cash game and then GPP approach. So this is our league here. Join us if you can. Be really awesome. It's a free league, 7 entries.
We had 3R week 1, or our first week last week. Now, as you know, my cash game approach, I'm generally going to focus on these 2 games. Like MME, unchecking all the games except for these 2. Or like maybe if you have a lock from the early slate, lock it. Like that might be the move this week. I'm going to try it. And I'm going to try to take home that, that MME for the quarter or the 50, the mini max. I'm practicing on mini max until I take home, a top of the scoreboard mini max, and then I'll mass multi-entry into the Milli Maker. But I promise myself I'll never MME the Milli Maker unless I successfully take home a mini max MME. It's great practice. Very similar entrance, right? Very similar pool of people, very similar odds. And to me, it's not about the money, it's about the practice. And at 50 cents a pop, it's much better at practicing at 50 cents a pop than $20 a pop or $15 a pop. Wait, this is Thursday. Hold on. It's $20 a pop for Sunday. Yeah, $20 a pop for Sunday. All right. Let's do... All right, Geno Smith. Look how cheap he is. He's playing Arizona. I mean, he's been putting in work. Played Atlanta, Detroit, New Orleans. This one's very surprising too. You didn't throw for 300 yards, but threw for 3 touchdowns. I mean, he's happy where he's at. Let's put it that way. Remember him at the Jets? And I think at the Bills? Wasn't he on Buffalo Bills too? I don't know. Geno Smith, he's been around. He's been kind of traded from team to team. Somebody who was on their way out. But he has found his place in Seattle. And it might be a cash game approach this week. I'm not going to go there. I'd rather go Kyler Murray. Because Seattle is just bleeding points. 2, let's actually go back. Did I toggle that? Yeah, I'm going to keep these 2 toggled for now. I want to select the running back, Kenneth Walker. Penny's out. He's going to slide himself into a lead role. I'm not sure if he's going to get any targets, so I'd be curious to see, but he's going to be very popular this week. You definitely want him in your cash game. He's going to be very popular and rightfully so. Now, do I want to game stack it? The move might actually be Patrick Mahomes at home with none of his pass catchers unless you can fit in Kelsey. This is the only person I would try to fit in. But I think it would be a very unique approach if you can make it work, especially in GPPs. But he's cheaper. This allows me to do a little bit more. So let's start off with this build. And I want to try to fit Diggs in there. Let's try to fit Kelsey in there. Cheapest viable. I kind of like this down here. Fuck it. Just go to the cheapest defense. What's another running back in a great spot this week? Something to keep an eye on in that same game is James Conner. If he's out, wasn't spotted during media access of Thursday's practice. Okay, interesting. I'd be curious to see what happens tomorrow. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, chances are he's not going to play. He's going to be doubtful. But he wasn't seen today in the media press area, so I don't know. Looks promising. He's a salary saver. He's then going to be very popular. So if this is what my 2 running backs look like because of opportunity and usage, then what I'll do is I'll get away from Kyler and I'll go with Josh Allen here in cash. I actually want to try to go Josh Allen in cash. Now that I think about it, he's just been so fucking consistent. He's a beast. You can't trust the running backs at Buffalo because of him. So just cash, just go with him if you can fit him in. Let's see if I can build out this lineup. Right now, this is my stack. Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs, bringing it back with Kelsey. Then I have Eno Benjamin and Kenneth Walker from that Arizona-Seattle. Let me grab another Arizona-Seattle if I can fit them in. Now they're a little too expensive. I'm gonna have to go elsewhere. Where's Pickens at? Damn, see, he's coming up in price. He's coming up in price, but this QB change benefits him. So let me see if I can fit that in there and make that work. I don't think I can. Somebody to keep an eye on. He's quickly becoming that kind of de facto number 2. I don't know. And he's cheap. That's why I thought of him. He might be something that's there on a first look, but I'd rather look into that matchup against those cornerbacks. But he's been getting usage. And with this attention on Pittman and Pittman coming back from an injury, he had that great week 1. You see his potential, but he needs a good WR2 to open things up for him. He's a little expensive this week, so with this lineup construction, we're not going to be able to get there. But I want to see if I can make this work, because I like how this is starting, but I don't like how it's ending. All right, Richie James. He's been a letdown. People have been on him. It might be... we might have to go with the cheapos here. I just hate picking Kansas City outside of Kelsey because you don't know who Patrick Mahomes is going to throw the ball to. It's less predictable. That's why if you're going to go with Mahomes, just do a Mahomes to Kelsey or Mahomes naked stack, and you're better off. Just from my experience. Yeah, some other injuries. So Shakir, I was on him last week. He did decent, right? 5 targets, 75 yards, 3 receptions, and a touchdown. He did good for his price. Came up a little bit. Still cheap. Now this is a big if. If Kumro's out again. Oh, McKenzie's back. I thought he was going through concussion still. So, yeah. Shakir's not really going to get there for me. But Isaiah McKenzie, let's see if we can squeeze him in. He's cheap enough. They might want to get him a little more involved. This is turning more into a GPP game stack, in my opinion, and less of a cash game lineup. But I'd have to go look at his usage. But the last 2 weeks, he's getting more opportunities. But the question is, what's his snap count look like? Do they show it here on... All right. Yeah, they don't really talk about his snap count. I'll pull that up in... I want to do more of these episodes where I do the first look, then I do like a GPP and then a cash one. But I'm probably going to keep those not live, just because of the props and certain things involved in how I want to create the video. And how I want to approach presenting the information that's on my mind, essentially. In a fun way that has me on screen, that has a prop or a block or 2 that fill out line by line. Like, it just takes a little time sorting that out. But I've consumed so much DFS content. I play it so much. I enjoy it. I might as well create content around it and incorporate it into my daily stream, or, my weekly stream rather. I don't know. So this is turning into a big GPP lineup here, but hear me out. Like, let's say Buffalo comes in first half and dominates, right? Dominates. Well, they're going to be in comeback mode, throwing a ton. I'm going to get rid of the running backs, get away from the running backs there. Now, this leaves me with 4,700 with this type of lineup construction. It's definitely a GPP, but I mean, if James Conner ends up being out, I don't know. I'm liking it. It's risky. Okay, and then we got Duvernay. Got McKinnon if you want to stay in a full game stack, but I just don't know if I'm going to do that. We can get my favorite rookie, Pickens. Shit. All right, GPP. This is not cash. Proceed with risk. I'm putting it into my cash game lineup at the moment. Let's look at Thursday night. I know we kind of squirreled. And we got football coming up soon. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to end it here. We've already done a Reignmaker lineup. We've already done kind of a cash GPP quick first look. Now let's look at tonight. I don't know if you've heard the controversy with Carson Wentz and Ron Rivera responding to a question from the media. What sets the rest of the division apart from you, or why are you so far behind in the division compared to other teams in your division? And he responds, quarterback, with a long pause, and then expands on it and says good things about Wentz. He's always known to be a straight shooter in the past. So, I think I'm sure they're on great terms, but now, if you want to take home a contest like this, you got to go away from what everyone else is doing. So honestly, I think what I'm going to do for my one bullet on this one, because I haven't done much research, Chicago's at home. I like Montgomery as my captain, dominating. Now, let's say Wentz gets hurt or gets benched. One or the other. I hope he doesn't get hurt. I never hope a player gets hurt. Even if I say I hope a player gets hurt, it's selfishly through fantasy scoring, and I regret that immediately after, right? You never want to see a player go down. It's all about a love for the sport. But let's say he does go down, or he sits, right? Or gets benched. I'm all off today. Where is he? Tyler Heineke. I don't know. He could be the dude that just comes in and just wrecks lineups. Now, if you're picking Tyler Heineke, expect a 0 from him. This is not financial advice. This is me going off of a weird suspicion. And I want to see if I'm right. So, Brian Robinson Jr. I think his name's Brian Robinson Jr. Interesting. Starting running back tonight. I want that usage at that price, especially with Gibson being 8,600. I mean, we saw his touches dominate Gibson's last week, so maybe there's a change like out the gate right now that he's back. So let's run off of it. Let's also do this pass catching running back. Actually, you know what? We might want to, let's go along thinking Chicago is going to dominate. Are you excited for tonight, Zen, by the way? Are you excited for Chicago to play? Do you have any alpha for Chicago Bears? Yeah, I want to construct this a little differently. I want Curtis Samuel in here. He's a staple. I do remember Heineke liking his tight ends anytime he would come in. And I believe in Washington, we have Logan Thomas out. So that would leave John Bates, who has been getting some targets, or the rookie. I mean, this, to win these contests, you have to take some chances. Where's the rookie? Cole Turner. He got 3 targets last week. Didn't do anything with them, but he's getting targets. So let's grab him. Now let's grab one last person. I want it to be an onslaught, meaning one Chicago and the rest Washington. It's either going to be Terry McLaurin for me or Brian Robinson Jr. I'm just not sure. Now, one could argue, hey, why are you putting Heineke there? Take him out, put Wentz. Chances are, look at this. I guarantee you somebody's going to have this lineup already. Cole Turner is not a secret, first and foremost. And this, with optimizers, they try to spend all your salary. So we're trying to get different. We don't want to tie for first. We want to win first. So that's where I would get away from Wentz and go with some weird feeling I have that Heineke is going to come in and play the remainder of the game and score more than Wentz. Now, you could also go another approach where you don't play a quarterback at all and you play another, whether it's a running, you don't want to play Khalil Herbert, actually. You want to play tight end or wide receiver paired, or, you know, if you want that correlation, the defense. But I wouldn't want to play the defense in this scenario. Or would we? No. Maybe we'd go with a St. Brown. Because Fields, let's face it, he doesn't look too appealing to me. He just doesn't score fantasy points. So, I realized my camera battery died, but my face isn't on, so we're good. I don't know. This is a cool one too. But like all these pass catchers without the quarterback, I don't want that. I just don't want that. So I built this lineup in mind with, all right, Washington's not in the lead. The running back, you know, I'm picking their third down pass catching running back over the starting running back, right? With the mindset of them coming from behind here. Cole Turner, young rookie, can make some great catches, can make some splash plays. But like, this lineup is dead. This money is dead if this dude gets a 0. Like, there might be a scenario where I cash, but this is what I'm hoping for. We'll see if it happens. Let me replace this battery so I can close this episode. Give me 1 second. And we're back. Video's back. We're good. All right. I don't know, though. McLaurin's been disappointing. But that could change with the quarterback change. Like, this is what I'm talking about. These things can change. And, like, learning about who he throws with during practice is very important, too. Backup quarterbacks tend to pick the receivers they practice with the most to throw to when they're thrust into action, right? Bearing injury or setback or benching. It's my weird suspicion that after the media news that, you know what? Yes, he had a good game, but like something could happen this game to where by second half he's benched, or I hate to say hurt, but something happens, rolls an ankle, whatever. Heineke comes in. This is me with the mindset of wanting to be so fucking unique. I want it all to myself. So this is the mindset you have to have in these showdowns where you're playing against so many people, right? I could easily continue on with this lineup construction and put in Wentz, but I guarantee you that this will be tied amongst a number of people. Now, I might have to run both just in case, so I capture both, right? But I kind of like the idea of throwing in Heineke just in case. It's an interesting approach. Like, please proceed with caution. Like, expect a zero. Expect you to lose this money if you copy this lineup. I wouldn't copy my lineups. All right. We talk crazy shit. We talk game theory. We talk cash. We talk GPP. We squirrel. We go back and forth. I mean, we're all over the place. So, but this could win it if things happen the way I think they might happen. This is all about what you think is going to happen, right? Like DFS sports is a lot of these lineups. You do your own research, just like you do in Web3. You do your own research and you make a decision based off of your research. You don't just go copy somebody else's research. That's something that I know I did it in the past in school. I would go copy, I hated school. Younger years, right? Go copy, look over the shoulder as I'm taking a quiz or a test that I had no preparation or study for, right? Like, you don't want to do that with DFS, first and foremost. And then secondly, don't blame the people you copy them from, right? Because I'm just having some fun here with the show, creating some content around things I enjoy. What I hope that you pull from this is develop your own method of constructing lineups, right? And don't make that method static. What I mean by this is don't make it a permanent method. It adapts with seasons. It adapts with comments from the commissioner. It adapts with what's going on with teams and within the league, right? Like the approach of targeting wide receivers more than running backs was actually, if you were paying attention to what the commissioner was saying and what a lot of the teams were saying and the changes in the coaching staffs, they want more points. They want to see more splash plays. Views are down in the NFL. They want more views. How do you get more views? More exciting games. So let's take that information and apply it to DFS sports, right? Food for thought. Don't just look at research. Don't just copy research. Look at all the different variables. Look at in the league, outside the league, look at the world economy. Make sure you don't overextend yourself. Never put in your life savings. Never put in more than you're willing to lose, and never overextend yourself. But I'll keep making videos like this. I'll keep reviewing the DraftKings week to week DFS slate, as well as creating custom videos. I see that this is blurry. It must have like a spot focus on, so forgive me. See if we can that's weird. Yeah, it does have a spot focus on. That's my bad. Anyways, for today's POAP, secret word 223, 223. That's the secret phrase for today. 223 followed by your public wallet address. I'm going to open up that POAP channel right now. You have 5 minutes. Okay, Google. Set a timer for 5 minutes. And then I'll disable the channel.
5 minutes. Starting now.
And we'll be making some announcements with that prize pool. It's right there. I took some pictures of it, of all the individual prizes. We just had a lot going on. And as I mentioned, Uncle Sam is my priority right now. I got to take care of a few things. And my deadline here is on the 17th. So hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Great weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch. And I hope you can make it in about 3 hours and 3 minutes. Love how that time frame works. We have Coke and Clicks on the show for a special spotlight special edition of BitMonkey TV. Hope to see you there. Until next time, please make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss when we go live. Thank you so much. Until the next one. Peace.